It's finally here. School buses, class rotations, and hand sanitizer and masks. We're heading back to school, guys. This is the Youth Worker Daily. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Youth Worker Daily, where we hope to encourage youth workers just like you with tools, tips, and resources so that you thrive in your ministry. My name is Jay Hyam, and welcome back to this new season of the Youth Worker Daily as we move into September and we get back to the school year. It's really great to have you with us, and so thank you for taking a few minutes to join us right here on the Youth Worker Daily. Hey, I want to share a quick little plug for something that's coming up very quickly and something that you in your leadership might find very interesting and helpful. And that is the Download Youth Ministry National Day of Volunteer Youth Ministry Training. It's coming up Saturday, September the 19th. It's going to be an amazing opportunity for you to bring your volunteer leaders together for 3 hours of training with some of the nation's leading youth ministry thinkers. Hosted by Doug and Josh from Download Youth Ministry. This is a great opportunity for you to gather together for some incredible training for all of your leaders for an amazing low price. Right here where I am in northern West Virginia, we are a host site, and so if you are anywhere in the area of eastern Ohio, northern West Virginia, or western PA, we would love to have you come and be a part of the National Day of Volunteer Youth Ministry Training. But we want to encourage you to come. You can be a part of this by checking out the website. Go and visit us at the Youth Worker Daily. Click on the link for the National Day of Volunteer Youth Ministry Training, and you'll learn more about the conference and the amazing opportunity it's going to be for you and your volunteers, but also the great way they've set this up so that you can visit and participate this. Even though there are corona restrictions out there, they have figured out a way to still come to you in a way that works, and so make sure you check it out. Register for it. The price is incredible, and like I said, it's training for your entire volunteer leadership team. One price, the whole team. It's a great deal. Go and check it out there. Okay, now today we're talking about getting back to school. It's been a wild and crazy 6 months, and I know some of you may have already stepped over that line and you're back to school already, but for many of us in this country, we are just now looking at the realities of returning to school. And I know for me as a youth worker, the idea of sending students back to school, it's an exciting time because going back to school means the restart of so many things. We transition from that summer calendar of fun and activity back to the normal, regular gatherings that we do at youth ministry. However, it's going to be a little different this year because of Corona. But as I thought about going back to school in light of Corona, and in light of some of the feelings that are out there because of Corona, I thought of some things that maybe could help us as youth workers as we talk with our students and talk with families and encourage them to think about Corona and going back to school, making the most and the best of the situation. So got 5 things, 5 B's that we can incorporate into our ministry that hopefully will help us encourage and share and promote this new school year in the midst of all of the things that we're dealing with as a nation. So the first one is this: be a positive voice. There are a lot of opinions, there are a lot of ideas, and those opinions and ideas, I mean, they run the gambit from super positive to super negative. But I think our role as youth workers should be that we are a positive voice. We want to be a positive voice. We want to be encouraging. We want to say helpful things. We want to, be the ones that are trying to build up our students as they get ready for this transition back to school. Don't be the negative. We don't want to be part of that negative conversation. We want to focus on lifting our students up, encouraging our families. So be a positive voice. I think the second thing that we can do is we can be supportive of the leadership. As a parent and as a youth worker, I walk that line of, how do we get my kids, how does my wife and I, how do we get our kids ready to go back to school? And as a youth worker, how do I encourage my students to look forward to going back to school? Well, one of those things is that we need to be supportive of the leadership. And here's what I mean by that. I know in our area, the leadership here in our district have worked really hard over the summer to try to figure out the best way to bring students back. And I'm not going to get into the whole side of, Corona and mask wearing and media stuff and news reports. Like, all that stuff is so diverse and it's so mixed. But I do think that we, as youth workers, we should support our leaders because they have done the very best that they can do with the information and the resources that have been provided for them. And you have to remember, some of these school districts, they're being given directives and guidelines from the higher up government levels that they have to work with. And people are saying, like, we want our kids back in school. We want them back in school by this date. So figure it out. And in many cases, our leadership has done that. They've tried, they've worked, they've asked for input from parents, they've done all of the research. And so I think we owe it to our school leaders, whether we agree or disagree, we owe it to them to be supportive. So be supportive of your leaders. Give them that chance and let them try to move forward with what they have set aside for students for this school year. I think the next thing is that you need to be supportive to and with parents. You want to support your parents, especially if they're parents that are kind of riding that fence of how they feel about returning to school, sending their kids to school. You want to be a positive voice. You want to be encouraging, but you want to support your parents, and so and that can be played out in a number of different ways. But you want to be supportive of your parents. So maybe that's giving them a listening ear. Maybe it's allowing them to vent a little bit. Maybe it's just sitting down with them and praying with them as they go through maybe some tough decision making in their own family for their own kids. But you want to be supportive of them, and so be there for them to lift them up and to encourage them as they move forward. And then I think the fourth thing that we should be with our students is that we need to be encouraging to our students. Now, I know I've started talking with some of my students, and the feelings and the emotions, are across the scale. Some of my students just want to go back to school because they missed their friends and they're looking for something else to do, and they just want to get back to what they know. And in that, I asked the question like, well, are you concerned about Corona? Are you worried about? And in many cases, they're not. They just want to go back and be with their friends. But then on the other side, I've got students that are very apprehensive. Maybe their home life is such that they've got an older grandparent living with them, or they're close with an older family member and they're an active part of their lives. A few of my students have grandparents that are going through some medical situations. And the idea of going back to school and potentially bringing something home is a real concern for them. So I've got everything from kids just want to go back to school to some of my students are really kind of concerned and are wondering what's going to happen going back to school. But I think our role in this is to be encouraging. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in any of the negative conversations or any of the negative press or anything that's going on there, but just stay encouraging. Remind them that school's a good thing. Remind them that the leadership has done their job to try to make it a safe and sensible return for them. And just remind them that if you do the things that they're suggesting that we do, we'll probably come through this pretty okay. So be that encouraging person for your students. Last and finally, I think the fifth thing is simply be in prayer. I know as a parent and as a youth worker, I am concerned. I'm concerned about what school's going to look like. I've got one child who has some respiratory issues that he's been dealing with all of his life, and the idea of him going back to school, knowing that there's a respiratory kind of like a virus that affects the respiratory, like that concerns me as a parent. Now, it doesn't scare me. It doesn't keep me from allowing my student to do something, my child to do something, but it is a it's a realization in my life. I have a child who could potentially someone that might pick up the virus. And so I just want to simply be in prayer for my child, for all of my kids, as they move back into the routines of school. And so I think the best thing that we can do as youth workers is commit ourselves to be in prayer for this season. Be in prayer for our students, for parents, for the faculty and teachers, for the leadership of the school district, for the leadership of the community. Anything can still happen at this point for this school year. So we do our best work when we get on our knees and we commit to be praying for this coming season. So that's going to do it for us today. 5 ideas of be the positive voice, be supportive of the school leadership, be supportive with and to the parents, be encouraging to your students, and be in prayer for this season. As always, guys, we want to encourage you to make sure you check out theyouthworkerdaily.com. Along with this video, we have other daily videos, tools, resources, and tips all there for you to check out. So go visit us, The Youth Worker Daily. Also, check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look us up at YTH Worker Daily, YTH Worker Daily. That's our handle for all of our social media. So come join us, follow along, see updates and other great things that are being shared on our social media. And don't forget, dropping this week, this coming Thursday, September the 3rd, our new podcast, Conversations with Everyday Youth Workers, returns. Season 2 is here. Super excited about it. Got a great list of guest youth workers that will be joining me all season long. We kick it all off with a friend of mine named Brian Lucas, who is a fantastic youth worker. You're going to get to hear his story and some of the things that they've done throughout the season of Corona, and some of the things they're looking for as they start up again this fall. So check us out this Thursday. You can hear us on iTunes, Podbean, we're on Google, we're on Spotify. Just look us up, we're out there, and we'd love to have you listen to the podcast. Guys, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Youth Worker Daily.